Have you ever felt like the more you try to make her like you, the more she pulls away? You text her first. You compliment her often. You ask how her day was. You show her that you care. You give and give, hoping she will see how great you are. But instead of getting closer, she seems to get more distant. Her replies get shorter. Her interest fades. Her energy starts to disappear. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong in a bad way. You just followed advice that doesn't really work. Most of us are told that to win a woman's heart, we have to always give more. We have to always prove how good we are. We have to be sweet, available and ready whenever she needs us. But here's the truth that no one teaches you. Attraction doesn't grow when you chase. It grows when you stop. Let that sink in. The more you chase her, the less she feels the need to chase you. The more you try to impress her, the less she feels curious about you. The more you give her attention without her earning it, the more she takes it for granted. But when you stop, when you shift your attention away from her and back onto your own life, something powerful happens. She starts to feel something she hasn't felt before. Mystery, curiosity, interest, even confusion. She starts wondering, why isn't he texting me like before? Why isn't he always available now? Is he talking to someone else? Did I lose him? And suddenly, you're on her mind. Not because you're playing games, not because you're pretending, but because you finally stopped giving her something she didn't value. And now, without it, she feels the space. She notices the absence. She wonders why the attention stopped. That wondering is the seed of attraction. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to explain yourself. You didn't need a clever message or a smart strategy. You just stepped back. You gave her space to feel your absence. And in that space, her feelings start to grow. Because what used to be expected is now uncertain. And what was once always there is now hard to find. This is not about ignoring her to punish her. It's not about being cold or rude. It's not about trying to make her jealous. It's about remembering something powerful. You are the prize too. Yes, she might be beautiful. Yes, you might like her a lot. Yes, you might want something serious. But that doesn't mean you have to lose yourself. You don't need to overgive. You don't need to chase. You don't need to explain your worth. You just need to live like a man who already knows he's enough. And when you do that, your energy changes. You don't seem desperate. You don't seem needy. You seem grounded, peaceful, powerful. You become someone who isn't shaken easily. And that calm, quiet confidence, it's rare and it's attractive. Think about the men women admire most. Are they always chasing? Are they always talking? Are they always proving? Number. They are focused. They are disciplined. They are calm. They are not afraid to be alone. They are not scared to lose her. Because they are not trying to get love. They are trying to live with purpose. They don't chase energy. They create it. They don't beg for time. They build something with their own. And that's what draws women in. So if you're wondering why ignoring her makes her notice you more, here's the truth. It's not about being mean. It's not about playing games. It's about walking away from what doesn't feel balanced and walking back into your own life. The man who walks toward his purpose always seems more attractive than the one chasing her approval. Let her feel the space. Let her wonder where your attention went. And instead of explaining it, let your silence speak. She'll hear it loud and clear. There's something strange that happens when you stop doing so much. When you stop reaching out first. When you stop over-explaining yourself. When you stop trying to be perfect all the time. You might expect everything to fall apart. You might think she'll forget you. You might fear she'll lose interest. But then something else happens. She starts paying attention. She starts watching you. She starts wondering about you. Why? Because when you stop doing all the work, it forces her to think. It forces her to feel. And more importantly, it forces her to ask this question: was I taking him for granted? You see, most men think doing more always leads to better results. They think if they keep giving more love, more attention, more time, she'll finally see their value. But women don't fall in love just because of what you do. They fall for how you make them feel. And here's the thing. She can't feel anything deep for you if she never has the chance to miss you. If you're always there. If you're always answering right away. If you never take time for yourself. Then where's the spark? Where's the mystery? Where's the moment she realizes, wow, I don't want to lose this man? When you stop chasing and start living, really living, something shifts. She starts to notice things she couldn't see before. She sees how calm you are. She sees how focused you've become. She sees that your time is valuable. She sees that you're not waiting for her. You're building something for yourself. And that space, it creates a different kind of attraction. It's not the kind of attraction that comes from begging or proving. It's not the kind that fades after a few compliments or dates. It's the kind that comes from respect. Women are drawn to men they respect. And respect comes when you show that your life matters just as much as hers. So what happens when you stop trying to impress her? You start to impress her without even trying. She sees that you're not like the others. You're not just another guy trying to win her over with words. You're not just another guy who needs her to feel enough. You're a man who is already enough, whether she chooses you or not. That kind of man is rare. That kind of man makes her heart beat a little faster. That kind of man makes her pause and think about what she might be losing. Because now, you're not trying to get her. You're just being you. And that changes everything. When she texts, you don't rush to respond. Not out of rudeness, but because you're doing something important. When she flirts, you don't lose your calm. Not because you don't care, but because you've mastered your emotions. When she pulls back to test you, you don't panic. You stay steady, knowing your value doesn't change. You've stopped needing her attention. And that's why she starts giving it more freely. You've stopped fighting for her time. And now she wants yours more than ever. You've stopped proving yourself. And now she starts proving herself to you. It sounds backward, right? But it works. Because the less you try to control the situation, the more power you actually hold. It's not about ignoring her with a cold heart. It's about respecting yourself enough not to chase what isn't meeting you halfway. That decision doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. So remember this. When you let go of needing her to want you, she starts wanting you more. Not because you tricked her, not because you played a game, but because you finally realized your peace is more important than her approval. And that shift in energy, it's magnetic, it's quiet, it's calm, and it pulls her in without you ever needing to say a word. The silent strength that makes you stand out. Have you ever seen a man walk into a room and not say a single word, yet everyone notices him? Not because he's loud, not because he's flashy, but because there's something about him, calm, controlled, certain. That's what we call silent strength. And it's one of the most attractive traits a man can have. Women don't fall for the man who tries to be the loudest. They fall for the man who doesn't need attention to know who he is. Think about it. When you're always talking, always explaining, always chasing, you're showing the world that something inside you is unsettled. You're trying to be seen, to be understood, to be accepted. But the man with silent strength, he doesn't chase that, because he already has it from within. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for. He knows what he wants and what he doesn't tolerate. And when you live like that, people feel it. Women especially feel it. They don't need a speech to understand who you are. They just need to watch how you carry yourself. Do you rush to fill the silence in conversations? Or are you comfortable just being present? Do you try to explain your value to her? Or do you let your actions and lifestyle speak for you? Do you lose control when something doesn't go your way? Or do you stay calm and centered even when things get tough? That calmness, it's not weakness, it's deep power. It tells her, this man is grounded. This man isn't moved by emotion. This man doesn't need me to feel whole. And that is irresistible. Because here's the truth. A man who is calm under pressure is rare. A man who doesn't overreact is rare. A man who lets people talk, lets the moment unfold, and just listens, is powerful. You don't need to always be doing something to get her attention. Sometimes it's your stillness that speaks loudest, because that stillness shows mastery. It shows that you've trained your mind to not chase every feeling, to not act on every impulse, to not react to every test or temptation. And guess what? That kind of control creates safety. It makes women feel like they can trust your energy. Why? Because if you can control yourself, you won't try to control them. You won't need to prove, beg, or argue. You'll simply let them decide. And when a woman sees a man who's strong enough to let her choose, she feels something powerful: respect, admiration, desire, all because you stayed centered, all because you let your calm do the talking. That's what ignoring with purpose looks like. It's not about being cold. It's not about punishing. It's about standing so strong in your own peace that her interest has no choice but to rise. why walking away makes her pay attention. Let's talk about something most men fear. Walking away. Not in anger, not as a game, but with calm strength. Because you know your worth. See, most guys think that staying no matter what proves they care. They think that holding on tighter makes her feel loved. But here's the truth. If she knows you'll never walk away, no matter how she treats you, she starts to lose respect. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to hurt you, but because women are wired to feel something powerful when a man has boundaries. A boundary says, I will treat you with respect and I expect the same. I'll give, but not at the cost of losing myself. I want you, but I don't need you to feel complete. That's powerful. That's rare. And when you walk away from things that don't serve you, she starts to notice the strength you carry inside. She starts to ask, why isn't he chasing me like the others? Why is he calm instead of angry? Why do I feel like I'm losing something valuable? That's when her mind changes. Because walking away isn't about leaving her. It's about choosing yourself. And when you choose yourself, when you respect your time, your energy, your peace, you become more attractive. Why? Because you're no longer reacting to what she does. You're responding to what you know you deserve. Most men try to force attraction. They argue, they explain, they beg. But women don't respond to pressure. They respond to power. And power isn't about being louder or stronger. It's about being clear. Clear about what you will and will not accept. Clear about where you're headed. Clear about what kind of woman fits into your life. A man who can walk away when he isn't valued? He's a man who's not afraid to lose a person, if it means keeping his peace. And that makes her stop and think. Because if she's used to men chasing and apologizing and begging, then your absence feels different. It feels powerful. It feels real. That's not you being rude. That's not you playing games. That's you respecting yourself so deeply that you're willing to let her miss you. And when a woman has space to miss you, to think about your silence, your calm, your strength, something inside her shifts. She starts to remember what made you different. She starts to feel the absence and crave the presence. All because you didn't chase, you didn't fight. You walked away with peace. So don't be afraid of distance. Don't fear the silence. Because sometimes the moment you stop reaching out is the moment she starts reaching in. The magnetic pull of a man who isn't always there. Have you ever noticed something strange? When you're always around, always available, always responding right away, people start to take you for granted. Not just women, people in general. But in attraction, this becomes even more powerful. When a man is constantly present, constantly checking in, constantly showing up, he begins to feel ordinary, predictable, safe, nice. But nice doesn't spark desire. Nice doesn't create mystery. And mystery is what pulls people in. Now here's the twist. You don't create mystery by pretending. You don't need to hide. You don't need to play tricks. You create mystery simply by living a life that doesn't always revolve around her. That means having things to do, real things, not distractions, not fake hobbies, real interests, real work, real purpose. When a man is rarely seen, he becomes valuable. It's the same reason why gold is worth more than dirt. Gold is hard to find. Dirt is everywhere. So ask yourself, which are you behaving like? A man who is always there becomes background noise. A man who is sometimes there, but always grounded, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Because she doesn't always know what you're doing. She doesn't always get access. She has to wonder. She has to think. And when a woman has space to think, she builds images in her mind. She starts to imagine where you are, what you're doing, and who you're doing it with. And that imagination becomes desire. Not because you're avoiding her, not because you're ignoring her out of anger, but because you're not dependent on constant attention to feel whole. You are whole already. You don't need her to text first. You don't need her to validate you. You don't need her to be glued to you. And that makes her feel something powerful. Intrigue. She starts to question, why doesn't he check in all the time? Why is he so calm, even when I pull back? Why do I keep thinking about him when he's not around? Because you've trained her mind. Not by manipulation, but by being rare. And being rare in behavior, in presence, in energy, is what makes you stand out. Most guys flood her with attention. You don't. Most guys are always available. You're not. Most guys are desperate to be noticed. You're too busy building something real. And that difference, that's what makes you magnetic. Most men think they must always make the next move. They plan dates, send invites, ask questions, again and again. They believe they show interest by leading every step. But here's a fresh secret. The moment you let her take the lead, she invests in you. When you do all the work, calling, texting, planning, she doesn't have to. She can stay comfortable on the sidelines because you'll handle everything. That feels safe, but it also feels easy. And easy things lose their shine. Now imagine this. You make one clear invitation. Say, I'm free Friday if you want to grab coffee. And then you wait. You don't follow up. You don't send reminders. You don't ask twice. Instead, you leave the ball in her court. Suddenly she has to decide. Does she want to reach out and take that coffee? Does she want to make the effort to text back? Does she want to prove that she cares, just like you did? In that moment, she does more than reply. She thinks. She feels. She weighs how much she wants to invest her time and energy. And that investment? It sparks real attraction. Because when someone invests in something, they value it more. It's like planting a seed. She waters it herself, so she watches it grow. Here's why this works. 1. She feels ownership. When she sends the next message or suggests the next plan, she feels like she's part of creating something. She feels pride in that choice. Pride makes feelings stronger. 2. She tests herself. Do I really want this? She asks. Am I willing to move toward him? That question makes her focus on you instead of you focusing on her. 3. She builds anticipation. Every time she thinks, should I reach out? Anticipation builds. Anticipation is powerful. It makes her heart race, her mind wander to you, her imagination fill in the gaps. 4. She balances the energy. A relationship grows best when both people give and receive. By letting her come forward, you balance the energy so that you're not always giving. Balance feels fair. Fairness feels good. When you step back and let her step up, you're not playing games. You're inviting her to join you in creating the next chapter. This is not about ignoring her forever. It's about giving her the chance to show she cares. It's about letting her learn what it feels like to pursue you. And that feeling of choosing to come to you cements her desire. It shifts the dynamic. Instead of you chasing, she chases. Instead of you proving, she proves. Instead of you planning, she plans. Now you both share the journey. And when she makes the first move, she's already walked halfway to you. That halfway step, it's worth more than any text you could send. So next time you feel the urge to book the next date yourself, pause, step back, and ask yourself, am I giving her room to invest in bringing us together? If the answer is no, hold off. Give her the space to decide she wants to bridge the gap. When she takes that step, she's not just coming to you, she's choosing you. And that choice, it makes you more attractive than any pursuit ever could. There is one trait more attractive than words or texts. It is how you treat yourself. When you hold strong personal standards, you show you believe in your own worth, and that belief shines in everything you do. Many men let others treat them anyway. They say yes, even when plans change at the last minute. They accept excuses when someone is late. They do favors that leave them tired and frustrated. They think being nice means never saying no. But here's the truth. When you let people cross your lines, you teach them to disrespect you. And nothing kills attraction faster than disrespect. Women notice when a man has clear lines he won't let anyone cross. They notice when he sticks to his word and expects others to do the same. They notice when he treats his own time and energy as precious. That notice turns into respect. And respect turns into real attraction. 1. Boundaries are your self-worth in action. Boundaries are not walls to push people away. They are signs that say, this is who I am. This is how I expect to be treated. For example, if she cancels plans without a good reason, you calmly say, okay, catch you next time, and move on. You don't beg for an explanation. You don't apologize. You simply protect your time. That simple act shows you value yourself. It says you will not give up your plans just because someone else changes theirs. That energy feels strong and sure. It makes her realize she's dealing with a man who won't settle for less than he deserves. 2. Consistency builds trust and desire. When you honor your own standards every day, you build a reputation. People learn they can rely on you to keep your word. Maybe you decide you'll always finish work by 6 p.m. for the gym. Then you actually do it. Maybe you choose to spend one night a week reading or learning, and you don't let distractions steal that time. Those simple routines show you can commit to something, and that signals you can commit to a person too. Women find consistency deeply attractive because it means you're dependable. Dependable feels safe. Safe feels desirable. 3. Respecting yourself teaches others to respect you. Imagine two men. The first man lets people cancel on him. He scrambles to reschedule. The second man calmly says, "No problem, I'll see you next time," and then enjoys his evening. Which man feels more at ease? Which man feels more respected? By respecting yourself, you set the standard for how others should treat you. You won't accept rude messages, last-minute changes without apology, or demands on your free time. When a woman sees you won't tolerate disrespect, she knows you have high standards. She realizes you bring value, not just convenience. And that value draws her in. 4. Boundaries. Keep your energy focused on what matters. Every yes to something unworthy steals energy from something that matters more, to your goals, your hobbies, your peace of mind. By saying no to distractions, you keep your focus tight. You build momentum in your own life. That focus shows in your eyes, your voice, your actions. You become the man who is fully in charge of his own world, and who wouldn't want to be part of that world. 5. How to start raising your standards. Today. 1. Pick one small boundary. Maybe it's not answering messages after 9 p.m. or not dropping other plans for last-minute invites. 2. Communicate it simply. I usually unplug after 9 p.m. I plan my week on Sunday, so I can't change it later. 3. Stick to it calmly. If she messages past your cutoff, you don't apologize. You just reply the next day. Notice how you feel. You'll feel more confident, more in control, and people will notice that too. When you live by your standards, you show the world you know your value. You won't chase approval. You won't beg for respect. You simply hold your ground, and that ground is solid. And a man who stands so firmly in himself, he becomes impossible to ignore. Have you ever noticed how some men seem to glide through life, unaffected by the drama or chaos around them? They stay calm, no matter the situation. They don't get rattled when things go wrong. They don't react impulsively to stress, anger, or frustration. This is called emotional mastery. When you master your emotions, you don't let the ups and downs of life control your decisions. You stay steady. You remain powerful. You handle challenges with grace. And that calm strength, it's incredibly attractive. 1. Emotional mastery creates a safe space. Imagine you're with someone who is always calm, composed, and thoughtful in their actions. They don't get angry over small misunderstandings. They don't panic when things don't go as planned. Instead, they take a deep breath, assess the situation, and calmly decide the best course of action. That kind of emotional stability is magnetic. When a woman sees that you can stay composed, it reassures her. It tells her that no matter what happens, you'll remain a steady, reliable presence in her life. Women are attracted to men who can handle their emotions because it gives them confidence that you can handle life's challenges. This emotional control is what creates trust, and trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. 2. Reacting versus responding. Why the difference matters. One of the most powerful ways to master your emotions is to shift from reacting to responding. When you react to something, you're letting the situation control you. You're letting emotions, fear, anger, frustration lead your actions. Reactions are quick, instinctive, and often lead to regret. They're driven by impulse. But when you respond, you're taking control. You give yourself a moment to think. You pause, assess the situation, and choose how you want to act. This controlled response shows strength. It shows that you're not ruled by external circumstances. You are the one in charge. Women are naturally drawn to men who can respond with patience and understanding. They see someone who doesn't rush into decisions, who is thoughtful in their approach. 3. Emotional mastery doesn't mean suppression. It's important to note that emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't feel anything. It's not about bottling up anger, sadness, or frustration. Emotional mastery means acknowledging your feelings, understanding them, and then deciding how to express them in a healthy, constructive way. You feel your emotions, but you don't let them control you. For example, if you feel hurt or upset, you can acknowledge those feelings without lashing out. You can communicate your feelings calmly and openly without letting them take over. This level of emotional intelligence makes you more attractive because it shows maturity. It shows that you can handle the emotional ups and downs of life without losing your composure. 4. How emotional mastery builds confidence. One of the side effects of emotional mastery is the confidence it builds. When you can stay calm in any situation, it proves to yourself that you're capable of handling whatever life throws at you. This inner confidence radiates outward. People notice it. Women notice it. Confidence isn't about being the loudest or most dominant in the room. It's about having a quiet strength, knowing that no matter what happens, you've got it under control. When you stop reacting to every little thing, when you show that you can stay calm under pressure, people will respect you more, and respect leads to attraction. 5. How to begin cultivating emotional mastery. 1. Start with self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotional reactions. What triggers you? What makes you upset or frustrated? Once you know your triggers, you can start to work on how to respond instead of react. 2. Practice deep breathing. When you feel a strong emotion rising, take a few deep breaths. Slow your heart rate. This simple act gives you the space to think before reacting. 3. Take time to reflect. After a situation where your emotions were triggered, take some time to reflect on it. How did you handle it? Could you have responded differently? Reflection helps you learn from each experience and improve your emotional responses. 4. Develop patience. Practice being patient in everyday situations. Whether it's waiting in line or dealing with a difficult person, patience is a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. 5. Communicate calmly. When you're upset, take a moment to express your feelings calmly. Avoid raising your voice or becoming defensive. Simply explain how you feel in a way that is constructive. 6. The attractiveness of emotional stability. Emotional mastery isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey that requires self-awareness, practice, and consistency. But the rewards are worth it. When you have emotional control, you become a magnet for attraction. You exude strength, security, and stability. You're the kind of man that women trust and rely on, not just for the good times, but for the difficult ones as well. Emotional mastery is one of the most attractive qualities you can develop. When you stay calm in the face of adversity, you show a strength that women crave. It's a quiet power that says, "I can handle anything." And that, more than anything else, is what makes you irresistible. The power of living with purpose and self-worth. Yeah, you've probably heard that women are attracted to men who have their lives together. But what does that really mean? It's not about having a flashy car or designer clothes. It's not about chasing after approval or seeking constant validation. Living with purpose means having a clear direction in life, a strong sense of self, and knowing what you stand for. When a man is truly living with purpose, he doesn't need external approval to feel worthy. He doesn't rely on others to give him validation. Instead, he seeks fulfillment from within. This sense of internal security makes him more attractive. 1. The importance of purpose. Purpose is the backbone of a man's life. It's the reason he gets up in the morning. It's what drives him. It's what keeps him moving forward, no matter what life throws his way. A man with purpose doesn't just go through the motions. He actively works towards something meaningful. He has goals, dreams, and aspirations that give his life direction. Purpose isn't just about career or success. It's about living a life that aligns with your values and passions. It's about doing work that excites you, having relationships that nurture you, and striving for growth and self-improvement. 2. Women want a life to join, not to complete. One of the biggest misconceptions in relationships is the idea that a woman is supposed to complete you. The truth is, women are not looking to fill an empty space in your life. They want to be part of a man's life that's already whole. They want to join a man who has his own path, his own purpose, and his own journey. When you live with purpose, you stop needing to seek external validation from women. You stop trying to prove your worth. Instead, you simply live as the man you are and let the woman come into your life because she wants to be a part of it, not because she feels responsible for fixing it. 3. Confidence without validation. Confidence is built on knowing your worth, not on constantly seeking approval from others. When you're living with purpose, you don't need anyone to tell you you're doing well. You already know that you're on the right track. This internal confidence is magnetic. It's the kind of confidence that comes from competence, self-respect, and a sense of fulfillment. It's not about bragging or putting others down. It's simply about knowing that you're enough, just as you are. Women are drawn to men who don't need them to validate their worth. They see a man who is self-assured, who has his life together, and who doesn't need anyone to tell him he's doing great. That kind of confidence is irresistible. The trap of seeking approval. Many men get caught in the trap of seeking approval from others, especially women. They try to impress. They chase. They put others on a pedestal, believing that their worth is tied to how others see them. But this constant need for approval is exhausting. It creates a cycle of dependency that leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. You end up feeling like you're never enough, no matter how hard you try to prove yourself. Living with purpose breaks this cycle. When you have your own direction and meaning, you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Your worth is intrinsic. You know that you are valuable regardless of how others perceive you. The power of self-worth. Self-worth is the foundation of a strong, attractive man. It's the quiet knowledge that you are enough, that you don't need to perform or impress anyone to feel valuable. When you live with self-worth, you carry yourself with quiet dignity. You walk with your head held high, not because you're trying to show off, but because you know your value. You don't need to seek validation because you already validate yourself. This kind of inner strength is incredibly attractive to women. They are drawn to men who are secure in themselves and who don't need anyone to tell them they're doing well. 6. Purpose and the abundance mindset. When you live with purpose, you naturally adopt an abundance mindset. You're not desperate. You don't need anyone to complete you. You're already whole, already fulfilled, and that's what makes you truly attractive. An abundance mindset is the belief that there is more than enough to go around. You don't need to compete, chase, or beg for attention. You know that your life is full of opportunities, and that if this particular woman doesn't work out, there will be others who align with your values and goals. This mindset shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. You start living in a state of flow, trusting that the right people and opportunities will come into your life when the time is right. 7. How to start living with purpose. 1. Identify your values. What is important to you? What do you care deeply about? Make a list of your core values and start living by them. Make decisions that align with what you truly believe. 2. Set clear goals. What do you want to achieve? Set goals that are meaningful to you, not based on what others expect from you. Break them down into small, manageable steps and make consistent progress toward them. 3. Pursue your passions. What excites you? What makes you feel alive? Spend time doing things that bring you joy and fulfillment. Your passions will give you purpose and direction. 4. Focus on growth. Continually work on becoming the best version of yourself. Seek out learning opportunities. Take on new challenges and push yourself to grow in all areas of your life. 8. The ripple effect of living with purpose. When you live with purpose, your entire life changes. You become a magnet for the right people and experiences. You start attracting women who are drawn to your energy, your drive, and your passion. Living with purpose also creates a sense of inner peace. You stop worrying about what others think. You stop chasing after external validation. You become focused on what truly matters to you. And that focus makes you more grounded, confident, and attractive. Living with purpose and self-worth not only increases your own happiness, but it also makes you infinitely more attractive to women. When you're focused on your own life and your own goals, women see you as someone who is powerful, independent, and self-assured. That is the kind of man who draws people in, not because he's trying to, but because he's living his life to the fullest.